First and foremost, I need to settle this with you. Be quiet. In 2020, Al Pacino's heart stopped. Paramedics revived him, but from that moment, everything changed. At 84, the legendary actor who gave us The Godfather is living a life no one saw coming. Once worth millions, he lost $50 million and is now forced to take roles he despises just to stay afloat. At 83, he became a father again, with a girlfriend young enough to be his granddaughter. From a shocking DNA test scandal to his grim views on death, here's how Hollywood's greatest actor became its loneliest. Born on April 25, 1940, in East Harlem, New York, Al Pacino was raised in a struggling Sicilian immigrant family. His parents, Rosa Girardi and Salvatore Pacino, split when he was just 2. His father moved to California to sell insurance, leaving his mother to raise him alone in the South Bronx with his grandparents, Kate and James Girardi. They had immigrated from Corleone, Sicily, a town that would later gain fame thanks to The Godfather. The Bronx in the 1940s and 50s was a rough place. Money was tight, and his father's absence left a void he could never quite fill. But his mother gave him something invaluable, an early love for movies. She often took him to the theater, where he became mesmerized by the stories on screen. Even before he knew what acting truly was, he felt drawn to it. Those early movie outings planted the seed of passion that would define his life. As he grew, friends called him Sonny. He had a rebellious streak and constantly tested limits. By 9, he had already started smoking and drinking. By 13, he was experimenting with marijuana. School didn't interest him, and he was always getting into trouble. Fights, skipping class, and breaking rules became his routine. Expelled from multiple schools, he eventually landed at the High School of Performing Arts. It seemed like the right fit, but he didn't last long. At 17, after a heated argument with his mother about his future, he dropped out. With no diploma and no stable job, he spent his teenage years drifting. He surrounded himself with friends who, like him, had no clear path. Some got caught up in crime, others fell into drugs. 3 of his closest friends, Cliffy, Bruce, and Petey, would later die from overdoses. Pacino easily could have followed the same fate, but one thing saved him. Acting became his escape, a way to channel his restless energy into something meaningful. Looking back, he admitted that without it, he might not have survived. Then came the losses that would change him forever. At 22, Al Pacino faced unimaginable loss. His mother died at 43, followed by his grandfather a year later. Left devastated, he poured himself into acting, struggling to survive by working odd jobs and even sleeping on the streets. In 1968, his breakthrough came with The Indian Wants the Bronx, earning him an Obie Award. More importantly, he met Martin Bregman, who became his manager and helped launch his career. A year later, Pacino won a Tony for Does a Tiger Wear a Necktie?, proving his talent. Trained under Lee Strasberg at the Actors Studio, method acting became his foundation. His road to The Godfather was tough. Paramount wanted a big-name star, but Pacino's raw talent ultimately won him the role, securing his place in Hollywood history. Despite his talent, Paramount doubted Pacino as Michael Corleone. He wasn't a typical leading man, and the studio wanted a bigger name. But Francis Ford Coppola fought for him, convinced he was perfect for the role. Even after filming began, executives remained skeptical until they saw the restaurant assassination scene. Pacino's chilling performance secured his place. The Godfather became a massive success, earning Pacino an Oscar nomination and launching his career. He followed with Serpico, 1973, portraying a real-life cop exposing corruption, earning another Oscar nod. A decade later, he redefined the gangster role in Scarface, 1983, immersing himself in the brutal world of Tony Montana. His commitment was legendary, even suffering injuries on set. Scarface, 1983, faced harsh criticism for its violence and profanity, while Miami's Cuban community protested its portrayal of immigrants. Despite the backlash, the film grossed $66 million and became a cult classic. Tony Montana's rise and fall symbolized ambition and excess, with lines like, "Say hello to my little friend," cementing its legacy. In Scent of a Woman, 1992, Pacino finally won an Oscar for playing blind Army veteran Frank Slade. His intense yet humorous performance, including the iconic tango scene, made Slade unforgettable. Years later, he tackled controversial real-life figures. In Paterno, 2018, he portrayed Joe Paterno, caught in the Penn State abuse scandal. The film left audiences debating his role in the crisis. In Phil Spector, 2013, Pacino played the eccentric music producer accused of murder, diving into the mind of a troubled genius. In Phil Spector, 2013, Pacino played the eccentric music producer accused of murder, exploring his downfall rather than the trial itself. The film left audiences questioning whether Spector was a genius or a villain. Off-screen, Pacino faced his own crisis in 2011 when he lost $50 million to his accountant's Ponzi scheme. To recover, he took on commercial projects, including Jack and Jill, calling it a crazy montage of loss that taught him resilience. As a director, Pacino explored Shakespeare in Looking for Richard, 1996, earning critical acclaim for making the bard accessible. He followed with Chinese Coffee, 2000, an intimate drama about friendship and ambition. Since 2000, he has co-led the Actors Studio, shaping the next generation of performers.